Welcome, backwards denizens of the Milky Way, to another episode of the only food review show with host and contents insurance. Andromeda Ate, past tense. Before we begin today's episode, I have two sad announcements to make. Firstly, as many of you may have heard, sadly, last week I died at the hands of myself during an otherwise routine episode of Andromeda Ate. Fortunately, Andromeda Ate, TM, has exclusive rights to my genetic makeup and immaterial soul. In perpetuity! I can never leave this show. However, despite the temporary nature of my very real and very painful demise, we understand that listening to it live on air has caused acute psychological distress for many of our listeners. To make up for my astounding lack of judgment, Andromeda Ate is offering traumatized listeners 15% off one-way flights to Zamplo 17. To qualify, just send our station notes from a psych visit containing a signed affidavit that last episode caused you emotional distress. Secondly, since last episode, unfortunately Zamplo 17 has been caught up in a rogue solar flare, instantly killing all life on the planet's surface. Police report that our galactic sovereign was initially placed as suspect number 1, before the cops were politely informed in a lucid dream that they really have rather no business investigating people who can make stars go supernova. They have since dropped the investigation. With that out of the way, on to the show. Today, we're in the seedy underbelly of Cataxia 12, previously known for its distressingly large bagels, disappointingly small biscuits, and adequate hamburgers. Cataxia 12 has recently been on the forefront of a new trend that critics are calling immoral, disgusting, and worst of all, underwhelming. As I walk through the streets of Cataxia's biggest city, Melbourne, the ads blanket my field of vision. From left to right, radio to gamma ray, the signs are everywhere. Slivery sausages, or saucies, as the locals call them, have become somewhat of a staple food, especially here in the capital, where they've become a standard accompaniment to the traditional alcoholic beverage known as a shoey. I'm here at Rianne's Rickety Rat Hole, an upscale gastropub in the heart of Melbourne CBD, to try one of the best saucy shoeys money can buy. Hey Jessadroid, welcome in, we're happy to have ya. No worries Rianne, we're thrilled to be here. Tell us a bit about your pub. How did you come to possess the most sought-after shoey in Melbourne? Well, Jessadroid, it really comes down to two things. First is my choice of drink. I only buy the cheapest shit on the market. Keeps the margins high. Repackaged dregs of rum from another shoey spot across the street. And I grate in some gold leaf to make the custos think it's fancy or something. How about the saliva? How do you explain that? Locally sourced, handmade, vinaigrette. Excellent. 90% of cooking is marketing. The other 90% is actually cooking though. What's your second key to success? It's my own personal taste. And you won't believe this. It's cheese. Really? Cheese? That's intriguing. Go on. Shocking, right? Who would have thought rotten milk of all things would be edible? Yet it is. And fewer than 20% of customers end up in the ER. Oh, wonderful. What happens to the rest? Usually, death. I do have a repeat customer, though. Hey, Greg, get over here.
Oi, I'm busy.
I don't care. I'll give you a free shoey if you talk to this nice radio robot.
Look, I'm in this for the free shoey. What do you want to know? My full name, date of birth, passwords, credit card security code?
No, none of that nonsense. We already have that on file. I'd like to know what it is about Rianne's shoeys that keeps you coming back.
Well, it all started when my co-worker and best mate, Grog, retired. We figured we'd treat her to something special for the occasion, you know? And what better treat than the fanciest shoey spot in town, Rianne's Rickety Rat Hole. And long story short...
We love short. We're on a strict 30-minute time slot, and less content is more time for ads. Sometimes we even speed up the show by the Seinfeld constant, 7.5%, to add a bit of spice.
You are short so much you'd apparently fucking interject me to tell me about it. Anyway, you insane bloody robot. 5 of us went in, and only 1 of us left.
Ooh, a mystery. Who was it?
Me. It was obviously fucking me. Do I have to talk to this nitwit any longer, Ian? Can I just get me shoey and leave?
Just until they're done, sweetie. Then you can get your free shoey. Okay, so if your best mate died here, what keeps you coming back?
Well, I drink here every once in a while to honour Grog's memory, you know? For old time's sake.
You heard it here first, folks. The median regular of Rianne's rickety rat hole comes here to celebrate and mourn the lives cut short by Rianne's rickety rat hole.
That's right. Finally, someone who understands. I reckon that calls for a shoey, eh?
It sure does. But first, a word from our sponsors. Hi, Dan here, and I'm up to the tits and breast milk. My child is drowning. My sink is clogged, and my wife is filing for divorce. Drink it, eat it, swim in it. I don't care. I just need it gone. Come to Dan's Discount Dairy Depot, where the milk is free and my life is falling apart. And we're back. On the table in front of me now is an old gumboot, painted in peeling lead white, filled nearly to the brim with the finest liquor dregs this side of Melbourne. Now, I have to say, Rianne, this looks delectable. You've really got the presentation down pat. But it doesn't take a genius to realise this is missing one very important ingredient. Oh, thanks, Jessadroid. You really have a way of making a girl feel special. Just one sec. Rianne is slithering up the boot, briefly posing on the rim, and just made a beautiful 10-point dive into the goon. This isn't a meal, audience. This is an experience. Come on, mate, take a sip. Chunky. The rotten milk really stands out between the musk of an earlier drinker's saliva and what I believe is a faint hint of ashtray. Now, I'd love to ask Rianne some more questions about this eminently questionable concoction, but first is the rather pressing issue of how she's going to get out. In my research, I found 2 main approaches. The first is a long-term rental, otherwise known as the poop hole loophole, reserved for upper-class, low-throughput restaurants. These establishments charge by the hour and let nature take its course. The more common method is for the proprietor to simply exit back out through the throat. And of course, some specialty restaurants with an EMT on hand have been known to offer so-called caesarean seasoning. I'm not seeing any medical staff on hand, so it'll only be a matter of time till we see which approach Rianne prefers to take.
What goes down?
Must come up. That's not the saying.
Says who?
Me. That's not the saying.
Well, I said it, so what now?
So what? This whole experience was revolting. What person in their right mind would enjoy cheese? It's rotten bloody milk. My throat is bleeding, which is odd since I'm not meant to have fucking blood. And after all this, you come out and can't even get your bloody sayings right. You serve leftover rum from a shitty pub across the street, and you kill the majority of your customers. Why do people even come here?
Fake reviews.
What?
Fake reviews. I pay a team of cockroaches to write fake reviews of my pub. In exchange, they get to nibble on the custos. Ain't that right, Greg? I'm missing 2 toes.
Okay, that's it. Get up. What are you talking about? This is my pub. Get out. Fine, but I'm only listening since you're 90 times my size, okay? I've done nothing wrong that I'll admit to in a court of law. Okay, listeners, that deals with that. I'm going to have to figure out how to pad out the rest of our runtime, but for now, listen to some ads or something. Do you have trouble fitting in? Too tall? Too short? Too much hair? Too little? Do you feel all alone in the world? Don't worry, your pack is out there. Visit the Kamchutkan Wolf Rehoming Centre for more information. Canis, Lupus, Albus, Domus. Okay, listeners, welcome back. Sincere apologies to the livestream viewers who just spent 12 hours watching a carpet company waffle on about a rug sale. We have sincerely asked that they finally shut down for good. We're here with Sir John Edible XIII of the Snack Workers Union to talk about the ethical quandaries inherent to the snaky chewy industry.
Oh, thanks, Jessadroid. We're glad to have you. It's nice to finally have someone taking us seriously.
Yes, well, it's rather disgusting, isn't it?
Finally, someone who takes us seriously. Yes, it's disgusting. The treatment of snack workers.
And the taste. Why is no one talking about the taste? That's got to be a war crime. Or at least a war misdemeanor, am I right? What? And I paid $6 for this shit. Well, I mean, the channel paid it, but ultimately these things come out of my taxpayer dollars. That's what? 10 minutes of minimum wage? Ridiculous. I could have hired a chimney sweep for that.
You paid $6 for half an hour of dangerous labour. That's the issue, not the bloody taste. In a recent survey, we found that 95% of snack workers have gotten bit on the job.
I mean, sure, worker rights or whatever. But doesn't it make it so much worse that the end result of all your hard labour tastes like rotten milk?
That's really not the point.
Sure it is. It's one thing to get hurt for art. It's another altogether to get hurt for mass market slop. What would you know about getting hurt for art? You're a bloody radio host. I died for my art.
Sure.
Well, anyway, thanks for the interview. For listeners just tuning in, this was John from the Snack Workers Union displaying the average level of competence held by a saucy, shoey proprietor. Hey! Thanks for listening to this episode of Andromeda Ate. We understand your sector of the universe is chronically underfunded, so we've decided to donate all proceeds from this episode to an infrastructure relief fund. If all goes well, the Milky Way should be getting a new galactic bypass lane soon.